In the first part of this assignment, as my marketing best practice, I'd like to discuss Apple's marketing strategy from the prism of Apple brand. Theodore Levitt had a rather cynical view 5 decades ago about the product life cycle when he said that a lot of people know about it, but they don't know how to use it effectively or productively. But the technology companies have always challenged this thought, and Apple has in many ways reinvented the product life cycle many a times. But before I dwell into the Apple brand, I'd like to set the scope for our discussion. For the sake of depth and clarity, I've restricted my conversation to the Apple computers. Each of the theories on the Apple brand will be played out either by focusing on an ad campaign or secondary data which can be found in the reference page. So firstly, to understand what people really think about computers, and more importantly, about Apple computers, I conducted a survey. I'd like to discuss 2 questions and their responses in this video. As we can see from this pie chart, 50% of people think that a computer is their most important possession, which could indicate that computers are in the third stage of the product life cycle, which is maturity or saturation. This makes the next question very interesting. Majority of the people think that computers have not reached technological saturation, which indicates that the computer companies have been constantly able to innovate and increase the product life cycle. Here are some examples of Apple computers' innovations over the years. That's about the products so far. But as David Acker wrote in his book, brands are more than just products, and Apple embodies this sentiment completely. In the same book, Acker has outlined a good model to understand brand identity, the brand identity planning model. This model combines many elements of brand and branding written by different authors like Kotler, Keller, etc. I shall use this model to talk through the Apple brand using relevant supporting information wherever necessary. I use the 3 levels of product for computers to build up this discussion. The core benefit for computers is making work easy, or entertainment, or communications, whereas the actual product comes with the conjunction of hardware, software, cost, and user friendliness. The augmented product includes after sales, warranty, reputation of the company, brand image, etc. Acker's model begins with a strategic brand analysis across 3 categories: customer analysis, competitor analysis, and self-analysis. Customer analysis will show customers who love design, who are creative in nature, who are obsessed with quality, and consider computers to be more than just work machines. Whereas competitor analysis with companies such as IBM or Windows will show large corporate clients, excellent work machines, but not always comprehensive home-based computers. Whereas self-analysis for Apple shows an obsession for design and quality, which is not always price sensitive, and a company that has built a strong customer base and brand loyalty. The next step in understanding the brand identity is the brand identity system. Like the 3 levels of product, this system also has 3 elements. Brand essence takes the place of the core benefit. This states where the brand stands in its essence. Much like the core benefit of the product, this element defines the brand. In my opinion, Apple's brand essence is challenging the status quo, design leadership, being more than just a computer, and fostering a sense of ownership pride. While in the second layer of levels of product, we have the actual product, here we have core identity. This layer tells us about how the brand fulfills its identity, like how the actual product told us how the product fulfills the core benefit. For Apple, the core identity seems to be industry-changing intuitive products, hardware and software compatibility, plug-and-play features, and flawless operation of its products. The third and final layer talks about extended brand identity. The extended brand identity for Apple seems to be the association that users have of using it as a status symbol, the creative user associations, expressive personality of its products, in addition to services such as Apple Care and Apple Genius. The next step in the brand identity planning model is setting of the value proposition. Let us briefly discuss the value proposition before we move on to establishing the positioning of the Apple brand. The value proposition for Apple is built on high quality, easy to use products that are used by free thinkers and expressionists and have a degree of nichemanship associated with them. Value proposition helps us to establish the brand positioning, and compiling all the information together, this is the brand positioning we find for Apple computers in the industry. But what did Steve Jobs feel about the brand he created? Let's give it a listen.
Who is Apple and what is it that we stand for? What we're about isn't making boxes for people to get their jobs done. But Apple's about something more than that. Apple, at the core, its core value, is that we believe that people with passion can change the world for the better.
This was his view in 1997. The Apple brand had taken a hit in the preceding decade, and Steve Jobs wanted to connect Apple with its core users, which is why the Think Different campaign was a brilliant one, as it spoke to the core users of Apple and got them believing in the brand once again.
Here's to the crazy ones, the rebels, the troublemakers, the ones who see things differently. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
As a result, in April 1998, Apple reported its second straight profitable quarter, nearly after 2 years and $2 billion in losses. The share price also started to rise as seen in this figure. But Apple still wasn't able to increase its market share. Some have criticized that the campaign didn't connect with the masses, as the proportion of creative to normal users wasn't favorable. In the years following the Think Different campaign, Apple had achieved great heights. iPod, iTunes had made Apple a very successful and a profitable company, but its computer sales continued to lag. With this in mind, in 2002, Apple launched the Switch campaign to highlight why people switched to Macs. But this campaign didn't have the watershed impact Apple expected it would, and Apple took an aggressive yet enjoyable style in its 2006 Mac vs. PC campaign.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
And I'm a PC. What's with the big boy clothes?
Oh, this, I just got back from a meeting, so.
Why? Why were you at a meeting?
Yeah,
Why?
I do work stuff too. Come on, I've been running Microsoft Office for years.
Microsoft Office work stuff. Oh, boy.
What?
Oh, I knew this day would come.
PC.
I just need to sit down. Oh, wow.
There's plenty of work out there for both of us. I don't know why you're acting like this.
Why go on? Just let me lie here and depreciate.
Hello, I'm a Mac.
And I'm a PC, and it's time to play Choose a Vista.
Oh, what's going on?
Well, Vista comes in 6 different versions, and I don't know which to choose.
Macs just have one version with all the stuff you need already.
Well, that's boring. This is fun. Come on, big operating system, big operating system. Daddy needs an upgrade.
Didn't you make this?
Instead of talking about why users should buy a Mac, this campaign brought faults with PCs to the forefront and sensitized users as to what was great about the Mac. In course of 4 years that the campaign ran, the numbers it helped generate for Apple was staggering. The Apple Computers brand benefits immensely by the value of the Apple brand. This interconnection is one of the most amazing aspects of this company. It is almost vertically aligned in everything, and everything reinforces the Apple brand. All these factors have built up a great brand equity for the company. There are 2 elements of brand equity, and Apple has done well on both these elements. Apple's ability of creating good marketing campaigns, like the one discussed here, and the others ensure that the brand awareness, not just for its computers or phones, but for the whole brand, keeps on increasing. In 1997, when the brand image of Apple was in threat, Apple launched the Think Different campaign to ensure that the brand image is reinforced. Campaigns such as Think Different and others have ensured that the customer-based brand equity for Apple keeps on increasing. But Apple has also done well on the second element of brand equity: proprietary-based brand equity. It has been able to achieve this by constant emphasis on R&D and not shipping products that it does not believe in. The second aspect helps it to build channel relationships, as its suppliers, retailers, and users are kept happy with the company's offering.